All right, well, welcome everybody to the next section on the growth stage, sponsored by RBC. And we are a group from FIRST Robotics Canada. FIRST is a non-profit organization that is actually a global organization. We inspire kids to think that STEM, science, technology, engineering, math are really cool and fun. And the founder of FIRST back in the late 1990s, well before most of you were born, had this idea of trying to make STEM as exciting as, say, for example, a basketball game or a rock concert. And so if you come to one of our events, that's kind of the experience you'll see. You'll see kids dressed up in mascot costumes and face paint and pom-poms and lots of cheering and loud music, and it feels like a mix of a basketball game with a science fair all together. And we're lucky enough here to have one of our robots from one of our teams, and we'll get to meet them in a minute. But you may be wondering why we're here at a farm agricultural fair, and I wondered the same thing when they asked us to come. But then I started doing some research around ag tech and how important technology is in the agricultural industry now. Does anybody work on a farm, live on a farm in the audience? No farmers? Okay, that's all right. I'm not a farmer either, but I did a lot of research and found out a lot about this stuff, and I'm actually getting more into that. I just visited a greenhouse out in Windsor recently and saw the technology there, and it's quite fascinating. So let's get into it. This is a video that we're going to start off with, which gives you a snippet of each of our programs. We run programs for kids as young as 4 all the way to the end of high school. And we don't specifically focus on agricultural technology, but hopefully by the end of the presentation you'll see how our stuff fits in with building a pipeline into what is needed in agriculture. This video is called It's Not a Robot. Although we do have robots in our program, the focus is on youth and youth development using robots. So hopefully you capture that through this video.
This isn't a robot. It very well may have hydraulic arms, a drivetrain, and a circuit board, but this isn't a robot. This is a lesson in humility, hard work, and collaboration. This is a CrossFit workout for the muscle upstairs. This is an apple for the next generation of Newtons. It's a lot of things, but this isn't a robot. This is a roadmap that leads straight to engineering. This is a rock to shatter 1,000 glass ceilings, a rope to pull a generation up and out of poverty, a sledgehammer to break down cultural barriers, and a universal language spoken in every nation on Earth. And because of that, this is a compass that can help point the way to peace. But please, don't think this is just a robot. This is Glastonbury for technology. This is mission control for the next moonshot. This is the Rosetta Stone to help translate the future. This is the sport that will help us win tomorrow. This is the software to program ourselves to cure cancer, build a clean engine, or step foot on Mars. But this isn't a robot. It's a machine to build the people who will change the world.
Awesome. So in that video, you would have seen footage from all of our programs. First, Lego League, which is for kids as young as 4 all the way to 14. First Tech Challenge, which you would have seen kind of medium-sized metal robots for kids 12 to 18, and then a lot of it was footage from FIRST Robotics Competition, which is the big robots, and that was all taken from the World Championships, which currently are taking place in Houston in April. We have, as I said, we have 3 programs. First, Lego League is broken down into 3 divisions, kind of like Girl Guides has different divisions of Girl Guides. This is similar in that we have First Lego League Discover, First Lego League Explore, First Lego League Challenge, and each of those are Lego-based challenges. You can see the ages there. In First Lego League Challenge, which is I think the age of most of you in the audience that are youth, they are tasked with building a robot to solve challenges on a field. and they then compete on that field at a competition. They have 2.5 minutes. The robot is all autonomous, which means it's all programmed ahead of time, and they run the robot and get as many points as they can. They also do an innovation challenge, which is kind of like a research project and a Dragon's Den business pitch combined. And Ryan's going to talk a little bit about some teams that they work with that have done that in the past as well, which is really cool. First Tech Challenge is for grades 7 to 12 students. We don't have a First Tech Challenge robot here either, but imagine if you could shrink the kids. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Honey, I Shrunk the Robot. If you shrunk this down to an 18-inch cube robot, it'd be kind of similar in terms of the challenges that they have to do and the way they go about doing it. And then the third program that you see there, First Robotics Competition in blue, is the robot that we have on stage. It's for kids 9 to 12. Their season starts a little bit later. It starts in January and runs through to World Championships in April. But we have competitions for all of these programs going on all over the province. If you check out our website, which is firstroboticscanada.org, it'll be on the last slide. You can check out the event schedule. There's probably an event near you happening in the next couple months at a local high school. We cover a lot of things. A lot of people think of us as a robotics organization, but we do have STEM, obviously, in coding, but we also have a lot of focus on skilled trades, machine learning, and as Ryan's going to mention, the teams almost form like a small business. So they also have to do their own outreach, they have to do fundraising and support initiatives in the community, which is really helpful. So it's very broad-based and also very deep at the same time for kids, and the youth leadership experience that they get out of it is quite remarkable. I'm going to pass the mic over to Ryan, and he's going to walk you through, as a video plays, a little bit about the game that they played with this robot, and then tell you a little bit about the robot that they have on stage. So, over to you, Ryan.
So, hi everyone. My name is Ryan. I'm the team captain and lead programmer for Bubbles. This is our robot for the season. So, so every year, FIRST kind of releases a new game. For this year, it was water themed, and we had to get these pipes called coral. As you can see, our robot is there scoring the coral. We had to score this coral on multiple different levels of the reef in order to gain different amount of points. In addition to that, we were also introduced to this ball called the algae. As you can see, the robot has to pick up the algae off the reef and score it in this big 8-foot tall net, as you can see we're doing here. And this used a lot of different incorporations of different processes, such as you can see we have an elevator, we have rollers manipulating all the game elements, and even an intake where we're actually able to collect the coral. In addition, you can see the drive base on the bottom there, where we're able to, each of the wheels are actually independently controlled, so they're able to turn and move forward at the same time, giving you kind of like a shopping cart or like a drifting effect. Along with that, you'll see that our robot there and other robots are exploring different options to incorporate machine learning and AI algorithms. So we actually have a camera on the side here in order to improve our accuracy. Each of the reefs here contain a April tag. Now, it looks a lot like a QR code, but the difference is it's storing a lot less data. All it's doing, you can see on the bottom here, it says ID 18. All that means is it's just telling the robot that this is tag number 18 instead of QR codes that give you links and different things. All this tells the robot it's number 18, and we're able to position the robot based around this tag in order to get more accurate results. This helps our drivers significantly because the whole goal of this is whoever can score the most amount of points, and that's all about speed. So all our driver really has to do is click one button and the robot's able to do and score the coral by itself. So to kind of walk you through our journey, we're a rookie team. This was our first year actually operating. You'll see that on the side we've gone through multiple different iterations of the robot. So our first iteration on the side there was created in 6 weeks, where we had to develop CAD, code the whole bot before our first competition. Unfortunately, it didn't work the best for us, but that's okay. It's all about the learning experience. It's all about improving your bot and gaining all those lessons learned. So on there, we have our second version, which was created 1 week after the competition, and we went to the third week's competition, which is Durham, and that did a lot better. We were able to score 5 coral instead of 0 coral this time. But we took all those mistakes that we learned and continued to iterate for provincials, and we ended up with a ground intake, so we were able to collect the coral from the ground and be able to score it on all the levels of the reef. And that allowed us to score over 7 corals. So as you can see, through every lesson learned, we were able to continuously improve our bots and develop it more. As part of FIRST, we are a student-led group. All the teams you'll see, they're all consisted of high school students with mentors. The mentors are kind of helping push the students to develop robots like this and kind of guiding the students to create such a complex bot. So moving on, I've had, before doing FRC, I've done FLO for over 5 years now. So in addition to helping, to working on FRC bots, our team also helps mentor 5 other FLO bots. So this was actually one of the innovation projects created 2 years ago by our all-girls team. You'll see that they were able to create a vertical farming kind of garden where they were able to plant sprouts that kind of grew indoors. So what vertical farming essentially is it shines light, UV rays, mimicking the sun. So you're able to grow different types of crops indoors instead of always staying out, because outside you might have winter, spring, all those different weather conditions can affect the growth of different plants. You'll see that here we're interviewing different experts. So part of FLO is that you need to interview different experts, gain different knowledges that can help you improve your actual product. And this is also part of the robot game. Here you'll see they actually are also given a game and they have to build a Lego robot that's completely autonomously programmed to do different types of tasks. They were actually very successful with this and actually made it to provincials as well. Yeah, skip.
All right, thanks, Ryan. Many of you might be wondering if you're able to come and check out the robot, touch the robot, play with the robot. We're going to ask people to come up on stage at the end if you're interested in doing so. So stick around for the end on that. But I wanted to give you some examples of some robots in agriculture that will tie into what Ryan was talking about with the cameras and the April tags and whatnot. So this robot that you're seeing here is a John Deere tractor that is actually autonomous. In addition to it being driven autonomously, it also has this massive boom arm, and it sprays the field, and it's using cameras to sense here, let me hit play so you can see it in action. It uses cameras that are on those boom arms, there's the camera there, to read the plants, to find out if they are healthy or need a spray put on them, and then the robot goes ahead and does the application of the spray. And so in the blink of an eye, or a third of the time it takes you to blink your eye, it's actually scanned over 100,000 plants and sprayed them accordingly. And so some of the ways that this helps is that it helps obviously to automate some of the tasks on the farm, but it also cuts down a lot on the spray needed, which is both good for us as humans not to have too much spray, and also good for the farmer not to have to spend money on that spray. So a couple of ways that technology is used on farming that we've recently developed over the last, I would say, probably 10 years, is the use of GPS and drones and mapping of farms. So obviously farms are massive, massive areas. I was on a farm recently and they were using drones to assess the field, and so they were flying the drone back and forth, and it probably took about 10 minutes for the drone to fly over the field and do the mapping and check on the plants. And for a farmer to do that, it would take them all day to make that, to navigate that. Even in a vehicle, it would take them a long time to navigate through that. And then all of that data obviously goes back to the farmer. They use sensors, they use autonomous driving and artificial intelligence to figure things out as well. Here's some examples of pictures. There's drones there, there's plant pickers, and in the greenhouses, you'll see a lot of that, where you've got greenhouse robots picking plants, and we'll have a video of that in a minute. These are just more images of that. So this video here shows an autonomous robot doing some tilling of the field and weeding, and it's using a GPS tracker as well. So this is obviously on a tree farm, and it's navigating through all of the farm using the GPS. Does a really nice turn here, knows where it's going, figures out where the next path is, and then travels through and continues to weed using that weeder at the back there that you can see. So you can see the scale of the farm that this is used on, and it would take a long time obviously for humans to be doing this. And one of the challenges I think that agriculture faces right now is also access to workers, right? It's very seasonal, obviously, and it's hard to find workers to do some of this work. And so to increase productivity on farms with robotics and automation is beneficial, obviously. This is showing you, if you look at the bottom right, it's showing you how the camera is assessing the grapes. And then you can see it stops, it recognizes, hey, these grapes are ready for picking, has an arm that goes out, snips the grapes, drops them in a basket, and continues on. And the vision camera that you see there is a lot of what the robot that is on stage would do as well, where they're looking for the April tags, they see the April tag, and then they know that they're ready to place the coral on the reef. This is just another video of a robot harvesting. I really liked how it was on a track. So this is obviously in a greenhouse, and so the track is already set for them. And they can really design accurate pickers. And again, they use cameras to assess where the ripe fruit is, pick the ripe fruit, and leave the unripened fruit on the vine. And this is my last video for you. This shows a combination of things. One of these is like a plotter. So you think of a 3D printer and how it uses its arms to 3D print a product. This is kind of similar, where it's picking and placing seeds, and then it uses this track to also place the water so that the plants grow. And you can see how it's managing it within the greenhouse there. I thought this was a neat picker robot here. A little wave for you. And it not only picks, but also catches that in its little basket. And you can see this looks quite complex, but you can see the applications of the robot on stage as well and how that would work. I'm going to fast forward to the end of this one because there's a really cool thing I wanted to show you. Okay, so this one here is insane. Let me pause it for a second. So this is a sorter. It's sorting out, they obviously didn't do a great job of picking the fruit in the first place, but it's sorting out tomatoes that are ripe and not ripe to make sure that it only packs the ripe ones. And this is at real-time speed, and it'll give you a slowdown in a second to show you the actual speed of it. But watch when it slows down, how accurately it picks out the unripe fruit and discards it and allows the ripe fruit to continue to process. Pretty phenomenal. So we have another video to show, which is kind of our high school robotics end of year competition, the provincial championships. This year the provincial championships will be in Niagara, so if you're in that area and want to check it out, it'll be in April. But at the same time, while that's playing, we'll play it on the screen, but at the same time, we'll start taking volunteers up on stage. If you want to come up and see the robot, drive the robot a little bit, we've set it on a low setting, so it's safe, don't worry. And we'll do some interacting with the robot. So if you're interested in that, you don't have to be a youth, you can be a youth at heart. If you're interested in that, to come on up. But this is a recap video of last year's provincial championships. Last year was in Mississauga. Anybody want to come up and check out the robot? Come try it out. How often do you get to drive a robot? How about the girls in the front over here? Reminds me of French class when I used to hide behind my textbook so the teacher wouldn't pick me. The stairs are over here. Yay, give her a round of applause, everybody. Brave volunteer.
Hi there. Yeah, you want to try driving the bot? Here, so I'm going to teach you some quick controls, alright? So
normally in a competition, as you can see on the screen, the robots are not tethered. to the laptop. They're all using a radio to communicate. But today we don't have that system in place, so we're using a tether.
Still really, really quick. Yeah, try not to. And then you have your rotate.
And in this competition, unlike the Lego one, there's 15 seconds of autonomous. So the robot does it automatically, and then the last 2 minutes and 15 seconds, the kids are controlling it with the remote control. Now, we didn't talk about it earlier, but one of the things that's really unique about our program is that they work in what's called alliances. So in this program, 3 teams would play in groups of 3 and alliances of 3, and they work together. They would be from different schools, but they would work together to accomplish the challenge. And so they're incentivized. As you see your schedule, you might be playing with me in a match, and you might see my robot is not very good, and you want to come and help me make it better so that when we play together as a group, we're better. So a rising tide lifts all boats kind of philosophy. There you go. A future roboticist. Is there anybody else who wants to try the robot? Yeah? Why not the boys? Oh, on a time crash. Any parents want to try the robot? Or grandparents? If you want to try the robot and you don't have time now, our booth is just over there. You can come check us out. We're right in front of the cows. Any other volunteers that want to come check out the robot? Parents included. Girls in the front? You just saw how easy it is. Yeah,
Ryan, you want to try the allergies?
So Ryan, maybe you can answer some questions for us then. If anybody has questions from the audience, feel free to shout them out. But in the meantime, what would you say is the most valuable experience you have got out of First Robotics?
So I think for me personally, it's about working in the environment, working together as a team. Our team consists of 18 people, wonderful people, and being able to collaborate with them. During the actual competition season, we only have 6 weeks to create the spot. So working together overnight, staying till 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning, over the winter breaks, working together in the studio, it's about like the space you're in, getting to work, getting to meet great people, and even going to the competitions as well, getting to compete, but also getting to learn and getting to socialize with other people. That's like, it's the environment.
So marrying culture, environment over actually like the STEM stuff. That's interesting.
Robot's still fun to build, of course. Learning how to build it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's part of the key, right? Is the idea that the robot is the hook, draws people in, but the whole experience is that's really, really valuable. And you did First Lego League as well?
Yes.
Do you want to talk about what the differences are between First Lego League and First Robotics competition?
So First Lego League, you're given the same thing. You're given a game, a field, and you as a team have to work together to create a Lego robot that is completely autonomous. So you'll see our robot here is driven, so it's human control. For FLL robots, it's completely coded, completely autonomous to complete certain tasks that you're given. In addition to that, there is also an innovation project. So what you saw there was the vertical farm. Those students came up with their own idea to solve a certain issue that based off a topic. Once you solve that issue, you create a presentation, and you're going to go pitch it to the judges. So kind of like Dragon Den or even Shark Tank type of thing, where you're able to go pitch it to the judges. And kind of explain your thought process, work together, interview experts of all sorts, and kind of create a product.
Yeah, one of my favorite projects of all time was one that had an animal-based theme. So every year the theme changes. Last year it was about under like ocean health, which is what the reef is all about. But in this year, many years ago, it was about humans' interaction with animals. And this is one team out in Oakville lived on a farm, and they found horses. The farmers, they interviewed the horse farmers and said, you know, what challenges are you facing? And they were saying it's hard to know how much water horses drink. And so they have a trough and they just drink whatever they want, but the farmer doesn't have any of that information. So they decided to design a bucket that would fill with water when the horse approached. And then they had an RFID tag in the horse's nasal cavity, which tied back to the farmer's app. And that measured the amount of water that was consumed by the horse. And then if the horse stayed there, it filled up. And they drank again, but it overall sent the message back. And it gave the farmer that information. Is my horse drinking too much? Is it drinking too little? But it was really dialed in on those horses. So it's solving real world challenges and then coming up with some sort of innovative solution. So it develops not only those technical skills, but also presentation skills and skills in terms of interviewing and researching as well, which I think are super valuable. Are there any questions from the audience, either for me or for our youth?
Financed. How's the organization financed?
The question is, how's the organization financed? So we have some Ministry of Education funding, Ministry of Labor funding, corporate sponsorships, and some of that goes towards hosting the events, the costs with those. We have lots of volunteers, so we have to feed them well. And then we also have funding that we give to the teams to help them get started as well. And then teams themselves will do their own fundraising once they're kind of on their own feet, once they get the startup funds from us. So they'll go to local businesses and do fundraising that way as well, which is another entrepreneurial kind of skill development. Oh yeah, so you can see on the back of the shirts, they always recognize their sponsors. So Magna, Argosy, some recognizable names there for you probably. Yep.
How do the students work their hours working on this versus school hours?
All right, I'll give that question to the kids. How do you work your hours on the team, which in some cases are hundreds and hundreds of hours, and maintain school requirements?
So a lot about for FRC is time management. You need to learn the very important skill of time management, which is what FLL and FTC kind of teach you through. So it's kind of like a process you kind of go through all before ending up on FRC. For me, I normally do all my schoolwork at school, finish the homework at school, and then right after school I'm able to jump into FRC. But sometimes you have tests and stuff, so you need to work around it. That's also why you have a whole team. And that team kind of works together, be able to incorporate ideas and then kind of work on their own time to be able to.
Yeah, some teams will divide into sub-teams. And so only some sub-teams come to different meetings necessarily. But the bigger the team, obviously, the more opportunity there is for sub-teams. If you've got a small team of 10 kids, they're probably all hands-on all the time. And it does develop those time management skills for sure. Interestingly enough, tied to that, I was thinking of some of our universities and colleges and their interaction with us. They host a lot of our events for FRC, so you can check those out on our website there. But also, they give scholarships. So if you're interested in getting into STEM, a lot of our universities in Ontario will be providing scholarships. We have over $250,000 in scholarships. McMaster is one, I'll throw them out. They give $10,000, $15,000 scholarships specifically just for kids that participate in FIRST. So there was a kid at my church, he was like, oh, I want to get into engineering. I said, do you have a FIRST team at your school? And he said, no. I said, okay, well, let's get one started so that you can be on that team and then apply for that scholarship. So we made that happen for him this year. But yeah, it's a great opportunity for kids to see that. And I spoke with, as I went around to these events, I spoke with a lot of the university professors and said, do you see a difference? Like at Waterloo, for example, I had this one meeting and I said, Waterloo Engineering has one of the top engineering programs in the world, draws kids from all over the world for that. I said, you have the cream of the crop here. Do you see a difference between the students that did FIRST and didn't do FIRST? And there was about 6 professors standing around, and without a doubt, they all said yes, 100%. FIRST students come to us different than the general student population. And I think that's partly because they have this hands-on experience. Not too many kids, if you're not on a FIRST team, get a chance to build a robot. You also don't understand what it's like to maybe meet deadlines, think critically about design principles, and a lot of kids just apply to engineering because they think it's a cool career possibility, but they don't have the real world experience that the kids that our program develops come with. So another caveat, I guess, to that, that FIRST develops kids and prepares them for the experiences outside of school as well as in school. Any other questions?
I got lots. Are all the students from the same school, like the logistics of a team, or do you coordinate it through different high schools?
Right. So the question is, are the kids all from the same school, or they come from various situations? Not all of our teams are school-based. Some are, some aren't. Some are community-based. This is a community-based team, and I'll let Ryan talk a little bit about that in a second. But teams can form at schools with a teacher that's interested. They can form out of a church or a community center or out of your house if you're interested in that. The youngest programs only need 2 kids to form a team. I don't recommend 2. There's a lot of work to do, and it's not necessarily a great team experience. But minimum is 2. For the Lego program, maximum is 10. For the First Tech Challenge program, which is the 18-inch cube robots in between these 2 programs, is 15. And there's no limit for the team size for first box competition. Again, I think the minimum is 2, although you would never accomplish what you need to accomplish with 2 kids. But yeah, they can form in many, many ways. It really relies on minimum of 2 adults who are willing to kind of take the reins and run with it. Yeah. And then Ryan, I'll get you to answer that question.
Towards your high school diploma?
Is it accredited?
So it can be part of the TAS course if there's teachers in the audience. TAS course is a new technology course that's mandated by the Ministry of Education last year. And a lot of teachers are trying to figure out, how do I run this course? And FRC is one way that you could run that course. Yeah, a lot of teachers will use it in their courses for schisms as well. And then Ryan, do you want to talk about how your team's made up?
Yeah, so we're based off 18 students, all from different schools and different backgrounds. So that's the fun part about community teams. You can have a vast variety of students, not just from one school or one place. We have kids from Toronto come over. I think we had one in Oakville come over every single weekend. So but it's majority made up of a lot of different schools.
As far as space, do you have a workshop to build? Do you have, you need room to do all of this.
Yeah.
You can't do it at someone's house.
Yeah, very good question. So the question was, how do you manage the space? By the way, how are we doing on time? I know we're kind of over. It's okay. So space depends on the program. So First Lego League, they work on a 4x8 table, so you need space for that, and like build space and whatnot. But there's no machines needed for that program. First Tech Challenge and First Robotics Competition, there is a kit that comes when you purchase your registration. There's a kit. You can build that basic robot, and it will accomplish the basic tasks. You're not going to win probably a lot of competitions with it, but you can participate. Some teams who don't have a machine shop, so if it's in a high school, obviously they would have a machine shop. For schools that don't have that, because some have been mothballed, or community teams like this that may not have access to it, some will do, they'll design the parts in CAD and then send them to a sponsor who is a machine focused company, and they'll laser cut or CNC route or whatever the thing they're doing, they'll machine that part and then send it back to them. They can assemble the robot as machined. But Ryan, I don't know if you want to talk about how you manage yours.
So yeah, we operate in a studio space. So thanks to our sponsor, we were able to get a nice small space where we can dedicate all of our machines and stuff to actually build our robots throughout the season. But yeah, like Dave mentioned, we also do a lot of computer-aided design. So we CAD our bot in the computer, and then we send it off to sponsors for manufacturing, which then get the parts back to us.
Some of the parts are just like stock aluminum parts, and you can also buy some components, like an elevator component, for example, can come purchased from a manufacturer specifically for this purpose. And you can 3D print as well. So a lot of schools, libraries, obviously even people's houses have pretty decent 3D printers these days. Cool. All right. Well, if you have more questions, Our booth is just over there in front of the milking cows. Happy to chat with you. We're here the rest of today. Thanks, everybody.